Section 6.6, trigonometric equations, solving equations by various methods. I'm going to find all the solutions in the interval from 0 to 2 pi. Cosecant of 2x is equal to 1/2. Cosecant and sine are reciprocal functions, so I can think of it as sine of 2x. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Hold on. I can think of it as sine of 2x is equal to the reciprocal of that. Okay? So now, can sine of an angle equal to? Nope. So there's no solution there. Remember, sine goes up to +1, down to -1. So it can't equal 2. Next one, cotangent of 2x is equal to radical 3/3. Cotangent and tangent are reciprocal functions, so I could think of this as tangent of 2x is 3 over radical 3. So that's what I wrote here. Okay? And if you reduce 3 over radical 3, multiply top and bottom by radical 3, you would get 3 radical 3 over 3. 3's cancel out and you get tangent is radical 3. So now let me draw my picture. Positive in the first quadrant and the third quadrant. The opposite sides are radical 3. My adjacent side's 1. Okay, but in the third quadrant, they're both negative. So it's quadrant 1 and 3, it's positive. In quadrant 1, the angle is pi/3. So the general solution is pi/3 plus 2 pi n. Okay? And you can write it in 2 or you can write it in 1. I'm going to write it in 2 first, and then I'll show you it in one equation. The second or the third quadrant angle, the second one I need to get, is pi/3 reference angle, so that would be 4 pi/3. So the general solution is 2x is equal to 4 pi/3 plus a whole circle. And if you want, I could write this as pi/3 plus pi n, either way, because that's pi. To get here to here it's pi, here to there it's pi. Okay, either way is fine. But I don't want the general solutions, I just want between 0 and 2 pi. So when pi is 0, solve the equation. When it's 1, solve the equation, and so forth. And do 2, 3 until you're not over 2 pi. So anything between 0 and 2 pi. But this is 2x, not x. So if I solve each of these for x, I'll have x is equal to pi/6 plus 2 pi n over 2, or pi n. Okay? I can do the same thing here. X is equal to, if I divide by 2, it's 2 pi/3 plus n pi. And that's what I have right here. So dividing each of those by 2, I'm going to solve for x. So divide this by 2, divide that by 2, that by 2. Get pi/6 plus pi n. Divide by 2, get x is equal to 2 pi/3 plus pi n, and pi. Okay? So I'm going to use these two. When n is 0, I just have the 2 angles. Okay? When n is 1, I'm adding pi here, so I have pi/6 plus pi, or 6 pi/6, which gives you 7 pi/6. When n is 1 here, I have 2 pi/3 plus pi, or 3/3 pi. 2 plus 3 is 5. So you end up with 5 pi/3. If n were equal to 2, I'd be adding 2 pi. Stop, because it puts you over 2 pi. And if you want to figure it out, you can see that it's over 2 pi. So you stop, 1, 2, 3, 4 answers, and write them down. So there are your 4 answers. If you did this, which you still can do this one, when n is 0, so this is the equation you would be solving. So divide by 2, divide by 2. divide by 2. Pi over 6 plus pi n over 2 is equal to x. So when n is 0, you have pi over 6. When n is 1, if you have a common denominator of 6, you have 3 6 plus 1 6 is 4 6. 2/3 is 4 6. When n is 2, you have plus pi, so 6 6 plus 1 6 is 7 6. When n is 3, you have 3 halves, which would be 9 6, plus 1 6 is 10 6. 10 6 reduces to 5/3, so you have the 5/3 pi. When n is 4, you can see that you'd be adding 2 pi. Yeah, you're done. You would stop. So you can do it either way. You'll still get the same answers. Next example, find all the solutions in the interval from 0 to 2 pi. Cosecant of x over 2 is equal to 2. Cosecant and sine are reciprocals. So if you want, you can think of it as sine of x over 2 is equal to a half. Okay? So right there. Sine is positive in the first and second quadrant. So let me draw my little picture. First quadrant, second quadrant, opposite and hypotenuse. My reference angle is pi over 6. So I have positive in first and second quadrants. In quadrant 1, it's pi over 6. General solution is pi over 6 plus 2 pi n is equal to my angle, which is x over 2. In quadrant 2, my angle is 5 pi over 6. So the general solution is my angle, x over 2, is equal to 5 pi over 6 plus 2 pi n. This one you have to leave as the two different solutions. Okay? Solve for x. So if I multiply by 2, I would solve that for x. So x is equal to 2 pi over 6, which is pi over 3, times 2, which is 4 pi n. Multiply by 2. I have x, if I multiply this by 2, is equal to, multiply that by 2, I have 5/3 pi plus, multiply by 2, I have 4 pi n. Okay? So when x, n, not x, when n is 0, I have pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3. When n is 1, I'm adding 4 pi, so it puts me over 2 pi, so I could stop. So I only have the two solutions. And I'm done.